Owner of X and once a strong backer of Donald Trump, Elon Musk dropped the bomb on the US president on Thursday. Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they've not been made public, Musk said in a post on X. Calling upon his followers to mark his post for the future, Musk also said the truth will come out. So who was Jeffrey Epstein and what are the files that Musk is talking about? Jeffrey Epstein was a U.S. businessman who was tried for sexually abusing dozens of girls under the age of 18, the youngest of whom was 14. Epstein was also accused of creating a prostitution network, and he was found dead in his cell at New York's Manhattan Metropolitan Central Prison on August 10, 2019. Epstein was alleged to, with help from his close aide Ghislaine Maxwell, have flown dozens of underage girls to Little St. James in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The island would later be nicknamed Epstein Island or Pedophile Island. Flight logs containing names of Epstein's clients, who are alleged to be well-known politicians and business people, are believed to exist even though no such document has been found yet. Existence of those logs, collectively called the Epstein files, is yet to be proven.
The political romance between U.S. President Donald Trump and tech billionaire Elon Musk has come to a dramatic end, following days of tension that culminated in a war of words on social media on Thursday night. And then Musk went nuclear. In his own words, he dropped the really big bomb when he posted, "Trump is in the Epstein files." So who was Epstein and what are the files Musk is referring to? Jeffrey Epstein was a U.S. businessman who was tried for sexually abusing dozens of girls under the age of 18, the youngest of whom was just 14 years old. Epstein was also accused of creating a prostitution network, and he was found dead in his cell in New York in 2019. With help from his close aide, Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein had allegedly flown dozens of underage girls to Little St. James in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The island would later be nicknamed Epstein Island. Epstein's clients, who supposedly included powerful politicians and business people, are believed to be exposed in the so-called Epstein files. But while some flight logs were released during Maxwell's trial that included Trump's name, no such documents implicating wrongdoing are proven to exist. Some loud voices in Trump's Make America Great Again movement claim Epstein's suicide was staged by powerful figures, including prominent Democrats, who feared Epstein would expose their involvement in trafficking. But Trump's own FBI officials have dismissed such speculation, and there is no evidence supporting it. The Israeli military has struck several sites in Beirut's southern suburbs that it said held underground facilities used by Hezbollah for drone production. It marked the first time in over 1 month that Israel struck the outskirts of Lebanon's capital, and the fourth time since it signed a U.S.-brokered ceasefire agreement with Hezbollah in November. Since then, Israel has continued to carry out near-daily strikes in southern and eastern Lebanon in violation of the ceasefire agreement. Israeli officials say the strikes are intended to prevent Hezbollah from regrouping. The Lebanese army condemned the strikes, warning that such attacks are weakening their role in monitoring the ceasefire, adding that they might eventually suspend cooperation with the Truce Monitoring Committee.
At least a dozen people were injured after a suspicious package was found at a DHL distribution centre in the southern German town of Langenzenn. Local media report that multiple mail centre employees came into contact with an unknown white powder on the package. The staff began feeling ill soon after, suffering from symptoms such as rashes. 8 people were hospitalised after touching the powder, but a police spokesperson said that number may rise. The discovery prompted a large-scale response from emergency departments, including police, firefighters and hazardous materials specialists. A decontamination site was set up at the scene and the distribution centre was evacuated.
Friday marked the 81st anniversary of DDay, the pivotal World War II landing on the French beaches of Normandy. On the 6th of June 1944, Allied forces used the largest ever armada of ships, troops, planes and vehicles to breach Nazi Germany's defences in Western Europe. Over 4,000 Allied troops died on D-Day alone, and over 70,000 in the ensuing Battle of Normandy.
Landings are made under a naval barrage.
Crowds of thousands joined veterans along the coastline to remember their comrades. The commemorations included parachute jumps, flyovers and remembrance ceremonies. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was present at the event and had this to say: "Let us honour those who survived and came home to build a better world, and let us ensure that their sacrifice was not in vain by meeting today's challenges with the same resolve, the same clarity of purpose and the same commitment to freedom." Dozens of human rights activists march in Pakistan's capital Islamabad on Thursday against the murder of TikTok influencer Sana Yusuf. The 17-year-old was shot dead at her home on Monday and is the latest high-profile instance of suspected femicide in Pakistan.
Where is everyone? Why has the media not taken it up as strongly as it should have? Why are there so few people present here at this protest rally today? Why is the whole of Pakistan not standing up and speaking out in protest? This is something which impacts and affects everyone.
Yusuf was known for promoting traditional chit rally culture and women's rights on TikTok. The 22-year-old male suspect, who made his first court appearance on Wednesday, is believed to have broken into Yusuf's house after she rejected his approaches.
The European Union has strongly condemned the United States for sanctioning 4 judges from the International Criminal Court. The sanctions announced on Thursday target judges including an EU citizen, Slovenia's Betty Hochler, deepening the ongoing transatlantic rift. Washington cited the ICC's baseless probes into alleged US and Israeli war crimes, including the recent warrant issued for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. On Friday, top EU leaders voiced their emphatic support for the court, with Commission President von der Leyen saying it must be free to act without pressure.
The President said that the Commission fully supports the International Criminal Court and its officials, that this court holds perpetrators of the world's gravest crimes to account and gives victims a voice. It must be free to act without pressure. We will always stand for global justice and the respect of international law.
The Netherlands, the ICC's host country, also deplored the move, while Slovenia called on Brussels to activate its blocking statute, which protects citizens and companies from what the EU deems illegal extraterritorial sanctions imposed by other countries. The ICC said it would continue its work undeterred, warning the sanctions only embolden impunity. The US is not a party to the court and has long had a tense relationship with the Hague-based tribunal.
According to intel from the EU's border agency, irregular crossings have decreased this year by 27%. Frontex say their 3,300 officers manning the EU's external entries are to thank for this drop. Watching it all from his office in Vienna is Michael Spindelegger, Director General of ICMPD, an organisation that plays a role in shaping migration policy in Europe.
Now it's going down, but you don't know how long this is staying with these lower numbers. Still, if you have a look to the numbers of asylum seekers in Europe, it is very high. So also last year, we had nearly 1 million asylum applications in Europe. This is a very high number. And so I think it is not a situation where we can calm down. It is a situation where we have to look exactly what kind of measures have to be done for the future.
But what about Italy and Denmark, I ask? The two migration hawks have written to the European Court of Human Rights asking for, quote, more room to crack down on migration. Michael Spindelegger admits there are some, quote, legal issues, but calls their measures innovative.
I think everybody is invited to look to, as they call it, intelligent, modern ways to deal with the migration issues. And this model, especially from Italy, to deal with migration procedures in Albania is interesting because this is a new way.
For their part, the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg has written their own letter saying that debate is healthy, but politicising the court is not. Interior ministers from all across the bloc will be gathering in Luxembourg next week to discuss migration. Maeve McMahon, Euronews, Brussels.
Heavy flooding in Romania has led to critical conditions in the historical Prade salt mine, one of Europe's largest salt reserves and a major tourist attraction in the country. On the surface, local guesthouse owners feared the worst. Tourism is the town's lifeline and it's starting to fray.
Rezervări anulate ați avut?
Da, încep să am. N-am avut până alte, dar încep să am pentru că oamenii sunt sceptici.
Să știți că noi suntem foarte pozitivi împreună cu soțul meu din cauza că noi am supraviețuit deja și pandemia și asta simțim și din partea vizitatorilor noștri.
Salt water has begun seeping into the local river and officials now estimate that tap water in 50,000 households nearby now exceeds the EU's salinity limits. Romania has activated the EU civil protection mechanism. 8 European experts are on the ground looking to assess the damage and find solutions.